Welcome into the Saints post-game show presented by Uber Eats alongside Scott Shanley. I'm Erin Summers. The Saints fall 24-10 to the Atlanta Falcons. This game wasn't very smooth to start, and it kind of continued that way for the Saints. A couple things that they said that they were working on coming out of the bye week honestly became the problems again today. The red zone, the inability to execute in the red zone, and then the run game, not able to really establish a great run game, although Alvin Kamara did go down with an injury in the second quarter. It was just kind of tough going for the Saints offensively.
Yeah, and I think some of those things, you get concerned going into a bye week when you play really good football. That's always the debate. Do you want the rest, or do you want to keep on going while you're playing well? Obviously, playing against Carolina, they had the run game going. Tyler was playing well. Run defense was playing good. And then you take that week off, and you got to restart all those things and restart that momentum, so to speak. But, yeah, it was the same things. This game came down to red zone and then 2 field goals. You make 2 field goals, it's a one-possession game there at the end. It's a completely different football game. But you knew coming into this game, Kirk Cousins, I always said, it scares me playing veteran backup quarterbacks because they come in, they've seen the game before, they kind of resurrect their former career a little bit. So Kirk made the throws he had to make. They contained Bijan for the most part. That guy's a special player, and you hold him under 100 yards. It comes down to the things more about what you did or didn't do than what Atlanta did today.
To start the game off, Tyler Shough had a fumble in the second snap of the game. Offensively, the Saints defense had held the Falcons 3 and out, and they were doing a really good job holding them through the first part of this game. It just, the offense, they were able to get down the field twice and then had those 2 missed field goals. So when you have those opportunities and you're moving the ball, heck, in the second half, they had 2 drives that were around 8 minutes each, and you don't get points off of the first one, and the second one you get a field goal. So it's really tough when you do eventually find the momentum not to be able to come out of it with any points on the board.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we were talking about how they only had 40 plays against the Rams. It's not enough plays. Offensively, you had 78 plays today, and Atlanta had 55, so you completely flipped it. But when you drive the ball like that, it's about scoring in the red zone. Teams will gladly have you kick field goals. You get down there somehow, some way, you have to find a way to get these first downs in short yardage.
All right, we're going to head to the locker room and hear from head coach Kellen Moore.
Week felt like it was a good week, and we didn't come out and get this one done. Credit to those guys. Those guys coached better, played better, and ultimately executed better than us today. And so, frustrating game. All 3 phases kind of have different opportunities that obviously we missed, and it's going to be a big opportunity for us to respond the right way and stick together and keep battling.
Ruby up to 8 misses now. Do you still have faith in him as a starting kicker going forward?
Yeah, it's a frustrating one. Obviously, I think the biggest and most important thing is we got to go through this full process to understand how this happened today. He missed a couple, and it's unfortunate because there's been a lot of good, but we'll have to evaluate that and just get a better feel for how that process went down today.
What's the precedent that you'd rather set in that situation in terms of whether it be patience or at least trying somebody else out and kind of sending the message that there's a point?
Yeah, we'll just evaluate that as we go. Obviously, it's an important thing. We'll have to evaluate. First, really dig into what happened today as far as, let's communicate at a high level. Let's go through that process, understand how the outcomes occurred, and then, we'll obviously evaluate, and there'll be another day to continue to discuss that.
Because you all been looking at the future at some position, wide receiver, quarterback. Could Charlie Smith be part of that evaluation to get a look at him and what he could do?
Charlie's certainly in the developmental role. He's done a lot of good as he's gone through this process for a couple years now in the developmental role, and so again, it's something we'll just have to spend some time and invest some time. And say he's not going to be the answer to all that, and I think it's a process that we have to go through.
As you guys are looking to develop and make some moves for that, what's the advantage of going away from Tyler in the red zone and going with Taysom?
Yeah, just some of the run game stuff. Felt like it's a numbers game down there, and you gain a number with Taysom, and red zone's on me. We're not getting it done. So it's as simple as that. We're not scoring touchdowns down there. 0 for 3 today, had a huge impact today, and so we got to find a way to get it done.
When it comes to
like Tyler getting those reps, is there any future thought though, investing in that maybe, and would it be better to fail with him than with Taysom in that area?
I think always the goal is still to win the football game, and there's plenty of opportunities that obviously Tyler goes through that are hard situations and challenging situations, and there's plenty of stuff in there that red zone wise we felt like there would be some good opportunities. Felt like the run game in the +1 situation, there was a lot of evidence to support it would be a positive manner. it didn't come out to our outcome. And so, certainly there's more opportunities that we'll have to evaluate Tyler. There's plenty of games that we're going to get to evaluate him in those situations, and that'll be an important part of this process.
What exactly happened on the handoff? Just maybe more clarification. This was the first one between Tyler and Alvin.
Yeah, it's just a play action, and obviously they got too close, and there was a collision there, and so it was a play action play. We're just going play action pass, and I didn't get a perfect clean look at it. I was watching the routes as it went, and so I saw a little bit of the footage, but I'll have to look more into it.
The incomplete pass on 4-on-1 with Taysom.
Yeah.
Utilizing him in a red zone.
Yeah.
For the run game, but having him throw as opposed to Tyler, like what goes into that?
Yeah, run a lot of direct runs to Taysom at the quarterback position. Felt like there was a play opportunity there, and ultimately that's on me. Didn't work. So.
How did you just feel like this was a game with just so many missed opportunities?
Yeah, there's missed opportunities. Credit to those guys. They made the opportunities. They created enough explosive plays in the game. They made the stops in the red zone. We had our opportunities like a lot of games, and it's just a matter of those small little margins. We got to take advantage of them.
How would you describe this as a play caller in this game? Is it frustrating during the course of the game, or do you still feel like you got a bunch of things working? How would you describe, I guess, self-evaluation, the job you did as a play caller?
Yeah, not good enough. Obviously, we didn't get done on offense. It was choppy. We weren't able to create the flow that we had the previous week against Carolina, and so frustrating. I haven't done a good enough job with this group, and we got to find a way.
A lot of the play calls happen in a short passing situation. Is that because of Atlanta's pass rush?
Certainly their pass rush has been really productive. They've been a very productive pass rush team. I thought there were some opportunities to get the ball out of our hands. Obviously, as the game progressed, we got into some challenging situations, and they were able to rush the passer in some gnome rushes, and that was a challenge for us.
How would you evaluate Tyler just on first look?
Yeah, I thought he battled. I thought he gave us some positive things in there. It wasn't an easy situation in some of those as the game progressed, and we got into the multi-score game. I thought he battled, and certainly I think if you take the emotions out of it and you go watch the film probably tonight and tomorrow, you'll certainly see some positives. Yeah, we'll have to let that go through its process. Obviously wasn't able to return. We'll have to get the full evaluation tomorrow and get a feel for that and see what this outline looks like.
Coach, as you say, you've had Charlie Smith in the building for 2 years now, so you know what he can do in every situation except for a live game day during the regular season. As a 2-9 team, do you lose anything? Have you got anything to lose by elevating him to the active roster?
Well, I think it's something that's definitely part of the evaluation process. He's been here for 2 years, and he's developed a ton, and he's had preseason game opportunities, and he's done a nice job there. And so, he's in a developmental role, and we just have to continue to evaluate that each and every week. And we've had a lot of guys that have had opportunities to step up, and we'll see how all this stuff progresses.
How you thought Devon Neal played when he had the opportunity?
Yeah, I thought Devon, there's probably going to be some positives coming out of that film. I thought he made a couple plays in space and got some extra yards, which was a positive. I think for the most part, the protection stuff, he did some nice things in there. And so, he stepped up, and we'll see how his opportunities progress moving forward.
On the fourth and inches of the goal line before the intentional grounding, what would be the advantages or thought process of being in shotgun and not play so close to the goal line?
Yeah, just get Taysom, and then essentially you have 10 blockers and Taysom, and so that was the goal. A play we ran earlier in the game and got a first down, and so obviously, unfortunately, the snap wasn't successful.
Were you impressed with the atmosphere today, considering the struggles this year and everything? Pretty packed.
Yeah, I thought it was a great atmosphere. I thought our guys, there's a couple of big-time opportunities. I felt like the crowd helped. Some third downs. They were in field goal range and got a false start, and a couple procedure penalties in this thing. And so, we appreciate all that. That makes this place special. And we know we got some work to do. And we got to keep grinding and keep getting better. And there'll be better days certainly. And I think that we all have that sight that we'll get better each week, and we'll keep finding these opportunities.
How would you describe the mood in the locker room?
Yeah, just frustration, just because you recognize the opportunities that are out there, and we just haven't gotten it done.
I know you haven't seen the film yet. Could you maybe talk about just first blush? It seemed like Caesar had some issues today with some of the looks they threw at him.
Again, I think those ones are always really important to see the film. Up front, obviously, we got in some passing situations, and they really get some pass rush. And so, obviously, challenging situations, but we got to find something that works for us a little bit better, and find a solution to get the ball moving in some of those situations. And in the run game, we got to find some more consistency in the run game where we can get some things moving and create more flow.
Hey, Coach. Without Shough and Cooks, what did you see from Mason Tipton? Obviously, had that big return early in the game, and then I think he had 30 catches. What did you see from him that you like?
Yeah, we like Mason a lot. He's done some positive things through training camps and through preseason football. He's played a somewhat limited role in the regular season. I thought he made some plays in this game. He'll continue to play a valuable role.
With the self-scouting opportunity over the course of the bye week, did you find that what happened today was about adjustments not being fully, not being able to fully implement the adjustments that you wanted, or was it just a lack of effectiveness?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we just didn't get it done. We can look at it from a lot of different angles. Schematically, I'm gonna spend a lot of time saying, are we putting ourselves in the best position to be successful? Players are trying to find every margin that they can improve on, and so that's the goal of this thing. Obviously, every opportunity you have, whether it be a self-scout or a game film, you're going to evaluate it. There's going to be things that come out of it positively and negatively, and you just got to keep growing. And so, obviously, we missed this opportunity. Good. All right. Thank you.
Taysom Hill.
How's it going, guys? Good.
The snap that went over your head, that whole play, take us through that whole thing from your viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple different things that we were doing, and we got a certain look, so I killed the play, and then, it's a little bit challenging. I haven't seen the film and whatever, but I wish I could have that one back and secure the snap and get in the end zone there. But it's hard to really comment on it right now, having not seen it and everything else. But yeah, that was a disappointing play. Look, at the end of the day, it was a disappointing game. We had plenty of opportunities as a team, as an offense, to put us in a great situation, win that game, and we didn't capitalize on that. So that's a hard thing to swallow at this point. I think that there are some good things to build on, obviously. It's nice that we're down in the red zone and putting ourselves in situations to go score, and, we got to find ways to finish.
Jason, talk about the fourth down play. Was that a design pass, or was that something you decided that?
I did not decide to just throw that on my own. Yeah, it was a design pass play. I mean, look, there's no secret, right? When I'm at quarterback, we run the ball a lot, and we've done different things throughout the course of my career, and we were counting on a heavy box, and look, they made a good play, and we were trying to sneak Bailey out to the corner, and they made a good play.
About some of the frustration with the red zone in particular. What was it that sort of created troubles there?
I mean, again, it's a little bit challenging right now. You get into the game, and it's hard to give you a really good answer, frankly, having not seen the tape, but. I'm trying to think through the drives. I think we had plenty of opportunities, right? And it's not like they were negative plays. We had the one negative play that turned into intentional grounding, but certainly you'd like to feel like we can score from the 1 yard line, and it's a tough yard to gain down there. But I mean, it's hard to give you a great answer. I think maybe. I think we could all play with lower pad level. We were obviously trying to, we ran a sneak down there, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really the first thing that comes to mind. We had some missed opportunities on the.
Is it more frustrating in a game like this when you have, to walk away from a game like this when you have that many shots?
Yeah, Yeah, look, nobody feels good about this game, the first 24 hours are hard, Right now is a little bit hard because we had plenty of opportunities to get that done, and we didn't do that. So, I'm not trying to all of a sudden feel great about this, but I think when you take a step back, there are some great things that we did and are encouraging. But, again, your next question is, well, it's week 12 or 13 or, whatever it is, and we should have that figured out by now. But look, Atlanta's a good team, and those guys, get paid too, and they did a good job, and we knew that about them. They were an aggressive front, penetrating front, and they rely on some negative plays that way, and are aggressive in their scheme up front. But this was a hard one to swallow.
Taysom, do you see, like the type of season that it has been? I mean, you've been in games, opportunities, but the team just continues to fight. It just comes up short.
Yeah, sorry. What was the question?
Do you feel like the season, it's kind of like been that way? I mean, you've been in so many games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, again, nobody feels good about our record right now, but it's one of those things as a competitor and as a player, you can't let circumstances dictate how you prepare, the effort that you put into it, the film that you put out there, and as you have conversations in the locker room, right? That's really the conversation, because at the end of the day, nobody cares what your record is, right? When you put film on, that stuff that's out there forever. And I think the leadership, the locker room has been really good about managing that, and guys are in it, and guys are competing, and I love that locker room and really appreciate what everyone's doing in there.
Jason, when Alvin goes out, like the game, does that put more on you than like a running back, or does your role change?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a lot of things that I ended up doing today that I had zero time on task doing, and it's the nature of the NFL and the numbers game that you end up playing. But yeah, when he went down, I spent a little extra time with the running backs coach trying to figure out some things schematically and find ways to help Dev out there too.
How do you think Tyler's coming along in terms of what he's learning and doing in his first year?
How do I think about?
Just being in the huddle.
Yeah.
Him and what he's learning.
I think Tyler's done a really nice job. I think Tyler's in it. You feel his presence. You feel confidence with him in the huddle, and he knows what's going on. He's put the time and energy in to learn the system and understand the intricacies of what's going on and where his eyes need to be, and you feel that from him. And he's got a really positive, great presence, in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's something that, as a fan base, as media, if you watch him play, you can feel that. But, as a teammate and in the locker room with him, you feel that as well. And I think he's made some really, nice plays over the course of the 3 games that he's been playing. And, we have conversations, and the nature of that position is, it's challenging. But as you look at an NFL game, so often the game boils down to a few plays, and I feel like Tyler has done a nice job of making, these 50-50 plays, and I really appreciate the time that he's put into it, and he's progressed, really well.
Taysom, almost a year removed from the injury, has this season gone how you expected?
No.
Not as you personally, yes, obviously
yeah.
not the but When you got back on the field that first time, kind of like,
Sure.
did you have a vision of how the season might play out, and what's been your?
Yeah, I mean, I think as things relate to me, this season and this year, it was kind of like a perfect storm with a new coaching staff, a new scheme, a new offense, and I was out. So the first opportunity that I had to be coached by, this staff and for this staff to see me was week 5. My first practice with them was on Wednesday, and we practiced and pads on Wednesday, and practiced Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had a walkthrough Saturday. We played in the first game, So I think that it was one of those things that I became so hyper-focused on how can I, expedite, my rehab as quickly as I can. And I think the rest of it was I didn't really have a lot of expectations, Certainly I had conversations with Kellen and what that was going to look like as I was preparing to come back. But, we're still in a process of learning together and, what my role will be week to week in this offense. So I don't know that I had any real expectation. I was just so hyper-focused on getting healthy and being available.
Here's my poorly worded question. I was just curious, those types of injuries, does it get, sometimes they say, like, it takes more than certain months, certain amount of years to be the player they were before the injury. And do you feel like you're getting better as the season goes on?
Yeah, no, it's a really fair question. And the reality is, coming out of surgery, it was kind of like, hey, I think you'll be ready to play November, December. And I think it's one of those things that you don't realize how bad you felt maybe a month ago, and I think it's one of those things that I'll continue to feel better, throughout the season. And as you mentioned, I'm coming up on had surgery December 17th. And, through all my conversations with other people that have gone through this with surgeons, it's, man, you're going to continue to feel better throughout the rest of this season. But I feel, personally, I feel confident in my knee. I feel confident in fulfilling, the responsibilities that I'm asked on the field. So I don't feel like I'm lacking, as a result of this injury. But I also don't know how I'm going to feel in a month too,
Going back to the conversation with Joel Thomas, I know you can only take us so far inside that conversation.
Sure.
But how does that go? Like, is that hey, this is what I'm comfortable doing? Or this is what you need for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously things that I've done throughout my career that I'm familiar with, and so it's finding the balance of saying, hey, these are things that I've done in the past, and it fits our game plan already, and there's obviously things that we had game planned for that we didn't need to have any additional conversations about. But, there was a few plays that I ran today that I had 0 reps at doing, but it was quick conversation, and look, I think you play enough football and you can scheme different things up, but, especially as a runner, you rely so much on instincts, and that's really what happened tonight, today, I guess. Anything else? All right, guys.
Cool. What's up, guys?
Yeah, I know the result today obviously wasn't what you were looking for, but what did it mean to you to get into the end zone here with this team in this state?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. It was a result of my teammates, though. It was a result of Coach Staley making a great play call, my teammates doing their job, Kool-Aid helping get the pop up, Got a couple help from teammates on some blocks there to help get me to the end zone. So just a great defensive snap all the way around, and it was really cool, special moment for me.
How often do you get to practice cutting back on somebody that's trying to tackle?
You know, it's just it takes me back, man. It takes me back to my younger days when it's like got to play both sides of the ball and everything. But yeah, it felt like an opportunity to do it, cut back on it, find a way to get into the end zone. Yeah, good momentum. Yeah, go ahead.
So Cousins, obviously 14th-year player now, second start of the year for London. What were your impressions of how he played today?
Yeah, you know what? First of all, credit to them. They played a tough game, and they came out on top. The most important thing is obviously the W or the L, and they were finding a way to get the win. I think in a lot of ways, though, it's just like we let it slip through our fingers. I think we were so aggressive defensively in the first half that, I loved it. And they went to some screens and screen and goes, and that's what you're going to get in this league. If your defense is flying around, everybody's got energy, what offenses are going to do is they're going to go to screen plays and screen and go plays. They're able to get that one to Pitts early on. They're able to come back to another one to Bijan. I think if you take the screen and goes off the field, I think that we were just extremely dominant defensively, but they were able to create some explosive with that and get some momentum from it. And I think that's just something that we're going to have to be aware of. I don't want us to lose our energy or our edge. I want us to continue to be a ferocious defense flying around like that, but we just got to be aware that teams are going to go to screen and goes on us if we're flying around that quickly.
So I assume it's like 4th and 24. What did happen on that play? From its second and 24.
Yeah, 2nd and 24. Yeah, screen to Bijan. He's such a talented back. He found a way to squirm through the line, find an edge, and he found a lane and he took it and he was rolling. Yeah, that's such an advantageous position for the defense to be 2nd and 24. We got to take advantage of that.
It's your first impression on everything that happened today, of course, but on the Darnell Mooney touchdown downfield, what did you see there in terms of what happened defensively?
Yeah, we're in a quarters concept. Kool-Aid, basically on an island there on the field side. We had a cut and climb to where the safety drove the dig and a corner climbed, and Mooney just kept it so skinny that it was tough for our the help to get there, the assist on the touchdown. That's one play that we were really wanted to make sure we took care of the run because we knew they were going to do wide zone all day. But we're going to have an answer for that next week. We talked about it. We made an adjustment on the sideline. Didn't get the chance to use the adjustment, but we're just going to have to be aware of that going forward because, copycat league, teams are going to see the same thing. They're going to pull it back up. And we got to make sure that we don't get beat on the same play in the future.
How frustrating is it when the offense comes up empty 3 trips?
Yeah, the biggest thing is got to find a way to finish. I thought that the offense actually moved the ball well. They were able to get down to the 1 yard line inside of the 5. We just got to take advantage of opportunities. You just can't leave points on the board, special teams wise or offensive wise. I think they did a great job moving the ball, but you got to find a way to get the ball into the end zone because those points matter big. And more than anything, it's just momentum. You know what I mean? You don't want to deflate the momentum when you have so many things going right.
There was a lot of positivity coming out of Charlotte. How would you describe the mood in the locker room right now after this one?
Felt like we let it slip away. You know what I mean? Like there's always things that you can get better at, but everything that we did that hurt us was self-inflicted. And and credit to them, they played a great game. But the biggest plays were all self-inflicted. And I think that, we take care of those things, and I don't think that the result is even close to what it was.
Self-inflicted, we've heard that a few times throughout the season. Just what does it take to kind of get past that, and what would you kind of, if there is anything that you can pinpoint in terms of the sort of the catalyst of that?
One thing is just starting fast. You don't want to have it's honestly just a simple thing. There's no secret formula or whatever. It's just the little everyday things. Center quarterback exchange on a snap or whatever that came up twice in this game, or one of them was quarterback running back exchange. It's just those everyday drills. You just can't get bored with the things that you do all the time, and the things that you're good at, they got to show up. So the best answer I can give you is we just got to keep going back to it and just hammering it and getting it to stick and make sure we're carrying it with us Sunday.
Is that more frustrating that it is that as opposed to they just do this?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I mean, losing whatever way you lose, it always sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it sucks more one way or the other, but yeah, I don't think there's really been, Seattle game. I don't think there's really any other game though that's felt like that team was just straight up better than us. You know what I mean? But that's what the NFL is. Everybody's loaded with talent, and at the end of the day, the team that executes and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes and finds a way to finish is the team that comes out on top. So we have all the tools. We have the play calls. We have all that stuff. We just got to do it at the critical moments and put it in the end zone, or stop that last play, or not give up the big play, find a way to stop a screen. Just got to keep going.
I thought the defense played solid today. Only gave up 13 first downs. Atlanta was 3 of 12 on third downs. Obviously didn't get the win, but what were some things you saw out there that y'all could build upon down this final stretch on defense?
I think that it was electric starting the game. I think that it was one of the things we talked about earlier in the season, right? Like, I think it was like the first 3 or 4 games we talked about, slow starts or whatever, teams getting a quick 10 or 14 on us. And we made it a point of emphasis that we were going to start the games fast and with a ton of energy. And I think that we've done that. And I think that that helps make a spark for the entire team. So I think we got to just continue to bring that with us, not take a step back. And like I said, I think that the worst play that can happen to us right now is a screen and goes. And that's just a fact, because we're playing with so much energy and guys are going for it and playing fast. That's what teams do, the defenses that do that. So I wouldn't change anything about the way that we're playing. I just think we need to have awareness there.
Taysom a while ago said something. He said, once you play and do something that's on tape, it's out there forever. Is that your mentality as a pro moving forward, even in a season like this when things aren't going your way?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is like more than this just being our job that we're very privileged to go out there and do every day to represent the city of New Orleans. This is about your pride, man. And we still got a ton of games to play. We're laying the foundation. We're not moving on to next season yet. We're still playing this season. We're going to continue to go out there and play our tails off for the city and do what we can do. Cool. Yep. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, I think running out of the tunnel and just seeing everybody in the dome, I think it was such a cool moment. I was talking to David at Drago's. He's one of the managers, and I went to Drago's yesterday with my family, and he talked about kind of a dream that he had running out of the tunnel as a Saints quarterback, and it kind of gave me some perspective of, like, I mean, a lot of people really dream about kind of that opportunity, and the opportunity we fell short, but I was kind of proud of just how we battled, and it sucks to lose, especially to the Falcons, but at least to start, it was a cool moment. And I think overall, we know what we have to do to fix it. And I think that's the story of the game. And there's a lot of fixable things, especially in the red zone where we just came up short, and then we'll finish it. And then it's a different story.
Can you describe what happened on that first fumble and play action?
Yeah, it was play action, and it just hit his elbow. It was just literally like a fluke deal. Sucks. Because I wasn't trying to give him it. He was just a fake. He was rolling over it, and it just hit. I think he just closed it, and but it's on me at the end of the day. I got to make sure I can hang on to that, and it just sucks. We got to be better there, and we had guys open, and but I was just proud of how the defense responded the whole time. I mean, they held them to a field goal in a really bad scenario, and then they were making plays the whole game. I mean, I think it wasn't good enough at the end of the day, but I think we were moving the ball really well. I think we were doing the things that we kind of needed to do to put ourselves in position, and then just 2 goal line opportunities that are tough, and a couple of field goals where we should have shouldn't have been in that situation. We should have been scoring in those red zone drives, and I think we felt really good about it, and we just came up short. So I think for me, just kind of continue to learn from those new scenarios, little mistakes, and kind of keep building.
Do the misses, like the misses on the kicks, have any effect on the offense or the team?
No. I mean, I think Blake makes those, 9 times out of 10, and he's doing a great job throughout the week. And we got his back, he's got our back, and it's part of it. And I mean, we put him in those scenarios where we can finish those drives out, and that's really on us as an offense. But we know. That's really on us because we can finish it, and it just kind of motivates us. But, we'll kind of continue to get back to it and continue to stay together.
How do you kind of balance the emotions of, like, being a competitor, you take the team down the field, you get to the red zone, but, like, you don't get all the reps in the red zone and come out to the sideline? How do you balance those, like, two opposite things?
I'm just trying to do whatever it takes to get in the end zone. If Taysom scores on a run, I'm equally as fired up as if, we hand the ball off or I run the ball in. At that point, we're trying to win. So whatever we think we can get the advantage wise, or schematically, I'm all for it. So it just sucks we weren't able to finish it, and I think kind of continually we'll just look at how we can kind of be better there as an offense. But there's nothing really special to say as far as that. It just sucks. We got to finish it.
They called a couple of runs, or I don't know if they were your option to run.
Mm-hmm.
A couple times down there too. First of all, did you think you got in on the 1 yard, and then what happened on the one where you kind of stumbled a little bit?
Yeah. No, I thought I was in whenever I landed. And obviously, I think my knee was down short, which happens. It was second down, so I knew that I wasn't going to reach. I didn't want to reach and have something bad happen. So wouldn't really change anything about that. Just fell short, and maybe if it was third or fourth down, we would have reached for the ball. And then the second one, we just kind of had a little rub. So I was getting ready to throw it, and that's kind of why it was more of a throw, RPR, and then just kind of slipped on the cut and almost got in. But yeah, that was more of a design throw in the flat, and then just try to make a miss when they switched it off. So yeah, just super close.
How difficult was it dealing with Atlanta's pass rush?
Say again?
How difficult was it dealing with Atlanta's pass rush?
I think we put ourselves in that situation when you're down, two scores at the end, where that's a scenario where defenses want to live, and they know we're going to throw the ball, and so it's tough. It's tough on any O-line. Every D-line is going to have an advantage there. So we just got to be better on first down. I think we had too many second and longs where that's we have to kind of get back on track, and yes, we got to be better. Starting out the drive.
Tyler answered that earlier this week. Johnny talks about how he likes how you've executed against tough defenses in the past. So just with that experience already on you, how prepared did you feel today going against them?
I felt really prepared. I think we were moving the ball, how we thought we could, and just came up short. But I think at the end of the day, it just sucks. It stings, especially against them. But a lot to build off of. I was proud of the receivers, Tipton, Vele, Pettis, Kevin, all those guys stepping up. Especially with kind of some departures, and CO obviously was a huge part of that as well, and kind of what he's been able to do, and all the tight ends too. They've kind of had an increased role. So was proud of them. And it's obviously not an easy situation, but I think there's a lot to build off of, a lot of encouraging stuff, and we just kind of have to fix those little things on first down and then in the red zone. Mm-hmm.
Decided to come off that because of the defense, or
yes.
because you didn't get out?
Because of the defense. Yeah. He undercut it, wasn't going to throw it. So the best play was to try and get some yards to try and score there. Yeah, it just hit his elbow. It was just kind of a fluke deal.
What's kind of like going through your mind, on the shovel pass, what's going through your mind as you're making these outside of structure plays, and especially that one, which is kind of is that just instinct?
Yeah, just instinct. Just trying to push it. You can't take it sacked. Obviously, there when you're the time is against you. So just doing everything you can to move up, trying to find different angles and get it to the guys. So just part of it.
Do you kind of embrace it when things are breaking down, and it seems like on these hard downs you always find a way to make a play too?
Yeah, I'm whatever it takes. That's my mindset. I love when we can kind of stay on the ball. We can kind of get some tempo. We're throwing it whenever those odds are against us. We felt, I felt the whole time who knows what's going to happen. We can break a tackle, we can score here, we get it to a one-score game. So nobody's belief was shattered. That was one thing I was really encouraged by. We were all still pretty in it. It just sucks, because it's the Falcons and we came up short there. But like I said before, we'll kind of build off of it.
Did you see any commonality to the problems in the red zone? Was there anything that, like, right now you could look at it about, that whatever it was, 14 snaps in the red zone?
No, I mean, it's tough when you're on the 1 yard line, and come up short. And I think like I said, we're moving it, and we just got to find a way to get that last yard. So we'll look at it. It's tough to think about it right now, but I don't think there's any commonalities with it.
With some of the formations you guys are doing, how much of that was like in the red zone specifically?
Mm-hmm.
There, like, how much of that was kind of just introduced throughout the week, or was it something you guys had throughout?
A little bit of both. There was some new stuff that we were repping, and obviously you got some new guys in the mix. You got Tipton and Bailey, and you got Taysom switching around. So there's a lot of different personnel stuff where you got to rep, and then there was some traditional stuff as well. But I think that's very common week to week though. Just trying to attack.
Yeah, Talon said that part of the South Scout was really kind of emphasizing on the red zone a few days ago. I mean, did it feel like throughout the week that you guys felt confident and you had all these
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, I think we felt really, really confident. I think just with that results, and then, like I said, you get down really close, you got to find a way to punch it in. You got to find a way. So, and whether that's whatever it is, I don't have an answer for that. So.
How do you think losing Alvin in the first quarter affected the offense and maybe even the red zone too?
Yeah, I think obviously hugely. I mean, he's a great part of what we do as an offense, and just from running the ball, catching the ball, receiving it. I think he's obviously the best in the business when it comes to that. So hopefully he's okay. I haven't heard anything yet, but I think it obviously sucks. But I was really proud of Devon and what he was able to do. I mean, he was laying the boom quite a few times, doing his job really well. Taysom as well. He's like a Swiss Army knife, and he was thrown into some tough situations. So hopefully he'll be good, and then we'll kind of continue to go.
Tyler, did you get hurt on the last play of the game? I think you were favoring your.
Yeah, I just got landed on my leg, so it was just a bruise. I believe it just should be good. It was just kind of like I got some flashbacks where he landed on. I was like, let me put weight on it temporarily, and so it was fine. But just like I said, you're in those scenarios. You're just trying to go down and score. It's part of it.
What kind of message have you tried to send to the team after this one, and will you try to send in the next few days about this game?
Yeah, just a lot of the NFL and a lot of this game, it can be taken emotionally and understandably. It's a high-strung game, but I think if you think about it analytically and what we could have done better or fixed, it's very simple. We score on those two red zone scenarios on the 1 yard line, and we find a way, then it's a different story. I think it just comes down to that, and I don't think there needs to be anybody freaking out about it. I think we know what we need to do, and just kind of keep going, and it's part of it. And I think it just hurts a little bit more, and it should. So we'll see them again.
In the passing game, it seems like Olave and Johnson are pretty entrenched as the 1 and 2 options. Who do you kind of see stepping up as that third guy?
Mm-hmm. I think Vele and Tipton equally. I think just kind of continually just reps with them. I was really proud of Tip and what he was able to do. He made some huge plays, especially just with the amount of reps that he's gotten all year minimally, and Devon as well, everything that he does. So I think that we got some good options, and we just kind of continue to go.
Tyler, do you feel a little bit different starting the first game at home compared to the first two on the road?
Preparation-wise, the game plan-wise, no. But I think it was just like I said before in the beginning. It was really cool to kind of be home in front of the fans and just have that opportunity. It obviously it means a lot, but just at the end of the day, we lost, so it hurts at the end. And like I said, we'll continue to keep building, and we'll get it done here at home. We got to protect our house.
You mentioned a couple of times today about especially because it's the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Just what you learned about the rivalry today.
Yeah. Just how important it is to the people of the city and how important it can be, and it makes you want to work that much harder and find that extra edge. But at the same day, you got to go back to execution and analytics, and that's why we lost. It wasn't anything other than that. And as far as some of those scenarios, so we feel really good about going forward. We just got to get back to work, and there's a lot of ball left.
Thanks, Tyler.
Appreciate it.
That was head coach Kellen Moore and several players talking after the Saints fall 24-10 to the Atlanta Falcons. And we heard from quarterback Tyler Shough, and we also Justin Reed. And I think that we got to talk about both of those players' performances because Shough had built off of such a good game against the Panthers before hitting the bye week. What did you see from him in the offense today?
Yeah, I think coming off the Carolina game, there's no doubt that Tyler's strength and what he has in this offense is the vertical game. I think you would have liked to see a little bit more of that early on in the game, especially coming off the Carolina game. But just you can continue to see his confidence grow through the ball. A lot more attempts today because they were trying to catch up at the end. But he's doing a good job of feeling pressure, too much pressure today. He was sacked too much, getting hit. You never want your quarterback to get hit that much. But I think he's doing a good job. And I said this after the Carolina game. He walks with a body language that says, I can play at this league. I can do this. This isn't too big for me. And anytime a young player does that, that's a great sign. Justin Reed, to me, had play of the day. Scoring on defense, gives yourself a chance. The offense was struggling the whole first half, but you were in it because of defensive takeaway and score.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only time that the Saints got into the end zone today was on that pick six by Justin Reed, and it was a great run back, too.
Yes.
I mean, 40-something yards and was able to bring it in. So that was a great play. I think the defense, for the most part, played pretty well.
Yeah.
And they held the Falcons. They held Bijan Robinson in check. So that was good to see. Unfortunately, it came down to a couple of missed field goals and missed opportunities there in the red zone.
It really did. I mean, you look at 2 field goals, and it's a one-possession game there at the end. It's a completely different vibe in here. The crowd is into it because it would be a one-score game, and then it's just about can you get the stop and go down on a game-tying drive, because you'd be down by 8. So it really set you back and made you chase points, and a reason why when you look through the box score, Tyler had a ton of attempts, especially at the end trying to catch up there. But I think there were good things that he did that he's continuing to do. The defense today was all about taking care of Bijan Robinson. For the most part, that guy's hard to contain. So coming into today, you knew he was going to be a problem, and he's going to get plays. He's just that talented of a player. But I thought outside the deep ball to Mooney for the touchdown, that was kind of a back-breaking play in the second half. Defensively, you played well all day, and then they took a shot, finally went vertical with Kirk Cousins, and they made you pay for it.
Yeah, that was a 49-yard touchdown pass to Mooney, and it was his first touchdown of the season. He's been dealing with some injuries earlier this year. When you look at this game and the way that they played, it's frustrating coming out of the bye. I think people would want to see a cleaner game and you to address some of the areas that you talked about going into the bye or coming out of the bye that you addressed. And in the red zone, 0 for 3 today. You only run 79 yards. Goal to go, you're 0 for 2. So those are definitely areas that they're going to need to continue to improve on and work at as we head on the road to the Dolphins next week.
No doubt, because this league comes down to third down percentage. Can you stay on the field? Can you get off the field? Turnovers and takeaways, and then red zone. Not kicking field goals. That's really what these Sunday games come down to. Everybody's talented, and you have to figure out a way. I think Alvin going out of the game really affected some of the short yard stuff. Taysom played a lot more today in those situations because Alvin went out. But you'd be remiss by not talking about Devon Neal and stepping in, the young guy stepping in. And I'll tell you what, Devon was a highly productive player at Kansas, but he got knocked a little bit for his 40 time at the combine. I think that's why he slid down the draft a little bit. But he looked great today. I mean, he had a burst. Looking from above, he was outrunning some of the defenders. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting to see Devon Neal more involved in the coming weeks.
And he got involved in a lot of the same ways that we see Alvin Kamara get involved in that passing game as well. So he was effective in several areas, and we've seen him be a great blocker in pass games. So we'll see what happens with Alvin Kamara and the injury there and how much they're going to lean into Devon Neal. I mean, they're going to kind of have to because the running back room is so small right now.
Yeah, it's pretty thin. Taysom is basically taken over as being a running back, just out of need right now. But Devon Neal has been really good. Just like we talked about, we want to see Tyler Shough, stack performances. You want to see the same thing out of a young guy, rookie Devon. He's done an outstanding job in pass protection. Those are things that get overlooked at the running back position. But as a young guy learning the pass protection, coming in, protecting your quarterback, and now getting the ball in his hands and making some plays with it, that's an exciting part of coming out of today's game.
So a couple good things that we saw from the defense, a couple things we need to work on offensively as we head to the next week. It is going to be in Miami against the Dolphins. Quick thoughts on that matchup?
You don't know what Miami team you're getting.
Yeah.
Much like Atlanta, you don't know what Atlanta team you're getting. Today they played much better than they did last week against Carolina. You have to be ready for that pass attack against Miami. Devon Achane is a really good running back. Just like Bijan Robinson can take it the distance, you have to be ready for him and bottle him up. Don't let him get involved in space. And that's really about what Tua you get that week. Get some pressure on Tua, and he's a different player.
All right. Well, for Scott Shanley, I'm Erin Summers. The Saints falling 24-10 to the Falcons. Tough one today, but hey, a week to go, and we'll be back at it. So we'll see how that one turns out in Miami. So stick with us on NewOrleansSaints.com all week, as we'll have the latest from the head coach Kellen Moore and the players leading up to that game on Sunday. Thanks for listening and tuning in right here. And of course, we have to say happy Thanksgiving, because that is also in between here. We just are kind of running through the weeks and work and all that kind of stuff. So, but happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family, and we'll see you on Sunday.